Hey, kia ora, Helen Brahms here, coming to you live from Sun City in Arizona. Hope you've all had a super fantastic, sparkling, magic Monday. Here we are with part two. Part one was just over like an hour and a half ago, but I'm getting really tired, so I wanted to get it done while I still had the energy. And I still have to take a DOG for a WALK. Poor Zevie. But she's had a great adventure today. It has been an awesome day. But first of all, how was your Monday? What magical things happened in your Monday? Please let us know in the comments below because I like to see um, about magic in Mondays and what they find magical about Mondays. Because it always inspires me. It always inspires me to see all of that. So please let us know in the comments below. Today has been crazy. Um, it started this morning when I got up. I had breakfast, thought I'd go take a shower, and then something before I turned on made me think to go check the tanks because normally I empty them over the weekend and fill up the water tank. And people go, but why do you fill up the water tank? Because the water pressure's better. And I have one of those shower heads that's very good at putting through pressured water in an economical water reducing way, if that makes sense. It's got a way that it puts the water through the head so that you still feel like you've had a really good shower, but it's used less water than what a normal shower would use. But then I turn it off. It's got a little button on the side that you push it to turn the water supply off while you're having a shower. So it's basically get wet, put the shampoo in the hair, turn the thing off, put the shampoo in the hair, get all that lather up and all of that sort of stuff, turn it back on to rinse it all out, turn it off again, soap up, turn it on, rinse, all that sort of stuff. Um, so it was, yeah, it was, and I went and checked the tanks, and I was down to a quarter tank on the water tank, and I was like, now is that the high end of a quarter, like it's just gone from high to a half down to a quarter, or is that on the low side of the quarter where taking a shower could end up in running the tank dry halfway through your shower, or is it middle of the road where you can get away with having one more shower but not a second one? So it was kind of that sort of question going through my head. And then I checked the grey tank, which is where all the shower water, the dishwashing water, the hand basin water goes, um, and it was full. I was sort of like, okay, is that on the just hit the full side of full? Is it on the full side of full where I'm going to overflow the tank if I have a shower? Is it in the middle of the full thing where I could get away with having a shower? So it was, these. So it's like, damn it, I'm not going to risk it. So I threw some clothes on, went around the back, emptied the tanks, filled up the water tank. Just that the first thing I do when I go to empty the tanks is I open up the lockers. I flip the water switch from the supply to filling up the tank, and then I go and I empty the grey and the black tanks while the freshwater tank fills up, and then once they're empty, then I flip the switch on the freshwater back to direct rather than where it bypasses the tank. So got all that done, came in, checked everything again, empty grey tank, empty black tank. Oh, I have 3/4 in the water tank. So I was like, yes. So we were on just hit the quarter mark on the gauge. So finally figured that out. Um, and then so I came inside, had a shower, got dressed. By the time all of that was done, I didn't have time to take Zephyr for a walk before I got on my morning training call. So did my morning training call, got off at 8:30ish because I knew I had a busy day. Um, we went for a very quick walk outside so she could do her business. Then we came back, put her in the car, and we took her down to a doggy daycare place that's like 10 minutes down the road from here. And it's got really good reviews. A lot of people in the park use this place. So I thought, well, let's go give it a try. And my friend Karen, who is living in the area as well, she has this beautiful little schnauzer called Marco, and he's so sweet. And Zeffie and him play together so beautifully. And so she told me, she'd sent me messages saying that she was going to go and check out a couple of places for Marco. And I said, well, I'm going to this place today. And so we're busy checking in and all that. And I'd filled out everything online because there's a lot of paperwork to do. Filled out everything online. I emailed it to them this morning along with her shots records. And so I didn't have to do any paperwork when I got there. So it was just like check her in, get her into the playroom and go. And they'd already had the dogs outside that morning, but it had already gotten too hot. So they brought all the dogs in and they had an indoor playroom where the dogs could roam about in there rather than being outside in the heat, which I thought was kind of cool. And so I'm standing there busy checking in, and the door opens, and Zeffy starts going berserk. I thought, what the heck's going on? And I look at Zeffy, I look up, and Karen's walking in the door. She she saw me talking about this place, and she said, "I'm going to go check it out." So she wasn't sure if she would see us or not, but she saw us, and it was really cool. She said, "Oh, I have something in the car for you." And so she went back out to the car, and she comes up with this package, which had been mailed to her. So I opened it up, and guess what was inside? Oh my gosh, I can't thank her enough for this. I got me another journal. Yay! These are the suede ones. Oh, look, my name's on it. See, it's my journal. It's got my name on it. So nobody can swipe it. I love these journals. These journals are really cool because they're nice and flexible. I love flexible journals when I put them in my day pack. And then there's this gorgeous, gorgeous card inside as well. I mean, look how cool this card is. Isn't that cool? So yes, I was very appreciative of that. So Karen, if you're watching this, thank you, thank you, thank you. I love my journals. So that was a beautiful surprise today. She said she's been driving around with it in her car for a while. I'm trying to find a time to come and give it to me. And so then we ended up taking Zeffy out to the playroom. So we actually got to take Zeffy out there on her leash. And I took her off a leash and opened up the door, and she did not want to go in there because all these dogs' faces were like right here in her face because they were all small dogs, medium-sized dogs like her. There was a couple of larger ones in there, but they were mainly small to medium-sized dogs. And so I had to go in behind with her. So I put her on a leash and took her in there and took her leash off, and she wouldn't leave me. She would stay behind my legs, through my legs. She would just stay around my legs. She wasn't going anywhere. And I realized I was up against the wall. And when Zeffy's in a new park or anything, I have to go stand in the middle of the park. Because if I stand near the fence line, that's where she's going to be. She's going to be somewhere around me. And I wanted her to go exploring and stuff. And so I went and stood in the middle of the room. And then Karen came in. And so then Zeffy was either hiding behind my legs, between my legs, or in Karen's. So she had two safe spaces. She had two safe spots, Karen and me. So it was kind of good. And then the woman there, she turned around and she says, if you want to sneak out, that's our sneak out door down the back corner there. I'm like, oh, okay. So Zeffy's off exploring something. So I make a beeline for the door. And as I got to open the door, Zeffy's in front of me. She moved fast. But we eventually got her playing with other dogs and stuff. And we were able to get out of the room. And she tried to follow me out the door. And I had to push her back in and say, no, I'm going to be back. I'll be back soon. Telling her every time I leave her, I'll be back soon. And closing the door. And as Karen and I are walking down the hall back to the front desk, all I could hear was this dog howling, whining really loudly and crying. And I said, that's Zeffy. She's like, I said, yeah. And we get all the way down the front desk. You could still hear Zeffy going. I was like, oh my gosh, the poor girl. And I felt so bad that she felt like she was being abandoned or whatever. But I thought she has to, we have to help her with this. And she's got other dogs she can play with. She's going to be fine. I just wanted to run back in there and pick her up. But no, she's going to be fine. And and then she stopped after a couple of minutes. And but yeah, she was loud. We could hear her all the way down at the front desk. And they have the monitor there at the front desk because they've got cameras all over the place. You can see the dogs in their kennels. You can see the dogs in the playroom. So we're watching her on the monitor, and she's just busy walking around and sniffing at things, not really playing or engaging with other dogs. But I thought, she's just checking the scene. And so I was able to then leave and go and get my other stuff done. And I had to go to the bank to pick up the money to pay the movers because they wanted it in cash or money postal orders or something. And I thought I'd never use those. I had no idea what they were. And so I called up the bank to say, hey, last time I went to this bank, they left me standing outside for 20 minutes. I've got to get this amount of money out, and I do not want to be standing outside with them counting that sort of money. And so I need to be able to pick it up somehow without being able to wear a face mask. And so she actually, and I'm like heading over towards that direction anyway, and I'm heading east, I'm heading east towards the bank. And she comes back and she says, look, that one is really rigid on their face mask. She says, I have never heard of anything like that. They won't let anybody in without a mask. Didn't matter if they have a disability or not. They're not allowed in there without a mask. And I was like, okay. She says, only a mile further from your place. It's only a mile difference from your place to there. And I thought, oh my gosh, she's thinking of my home address, which is here at the park. she's thinking my home address. She says, just a mile further away is this other bank, and they have a drive-through, which you'll be able to do that. And I'm like, sweet. And so it turns out the bank I was heading to was east, the other bank was southwest. So I then had to get on the 101, go along the 10, get to the bank, found the bank, got there, got behind two other cars, took about 5 minutes to get up to the window, and she says, how can I help you today? I told her what I needed, and I said, look, I've got the breakdown here of the denominations that I need, this is the amount that I need, and here's my debit card. And she says, no, we can't actually do that here at the window, you've got to come in. I said, I'm unable to wear a mask. And she said, not a problem. She says, just go pull around. She says, I'll let them know you're coming in, and it won't be a problem. And so I walked in the door, and I said, look, I need to get some money out, and the drive-through window can't help me. And she says, oh, just go stand over there in line. And they had these little stickers on the lines. There were one person per sticker. And if that end one for the queue to get to the front, to the cashier was full, they actually made people wait at the door until that sticker on the floor was free, to allow that person to go and stand on it. So I'm looking around. I am the only person in the entire place without a face mask on, and nobody said a thing about it. So I was sort of like, okay, this branch I like, but it's about 40 minutes from where the other one's 30 minutes. So I got up the window, got everything sorted out, got everything taken care of, got back in the car, and texted the movers, because the mover had called me while I was on the way to the bank to say, hey, we're going to be there at 11 o'clock. And I said, well, I'm just heading to the bank now to get the cash. And he said, like, oh, okay. And I said, I'll meet you there at 11, or it'll just be just after. And it was going to take me 20 minutes to get there, which meant I would have got there just after 11. And I did. He called me, he said, look, we've just arrived. And he called me like 11:05 and said, we've just arrived. And I said, that's okay. I'm about to turn onto Litchfield, which is the street that the storage unit was on. And I knew it was only like 2 driveways up. So I said, I'll be there in less than 2 to 3 minutes, depending on how long the slide is. And so pulled up, took them back through there, got them up to the storage unit. And of course, it was over the 75 feet limit. So I had to pay another $75 because they were going for the next 100 feet. So you get the first 75 free, then you pay for the next 100 for them from the truck. And there was this U-Haul there. Oh my gosh, this U-Haul was there. It was a 15-foot long U-Haul. And so the truck driver had to park across it, and he positioned it so it was straight out the doors across the parking spaces and into the building. And so he was blocking this U-Haul. But when we walked past the back of the U-Haul, it was like, that's not going to be a problem. This thing was like packed. He had only removed like about the first 1.5 to 2 feet within the truck was actually empty. The rest of it was packed floor to ceiling all the way to back. And he had some stuff, so he was starting to take all that stuff up. So it turned out that we had, the truck driver picked up 3 guys from a local moving company to come and help us out for the day, which is typically what they do. And so they started pulling stuff out and putting it into the storage unit and everything else. And I had to go to the front office to complete some paperwork, so I went up there and got all that taken care of. Came back, literally pulled a chair out of the guy's hand because he was about to put it up top. Says, no, I'm sitting on that. I said, no, there's no way I can stand for this long with my ankle. So I sat down there, I had my little notebook out, and I was making hash marks. I was counting every box. Everything that went into that storage unit got counted, because according to the inventory that the movers had done back in San Diego, there was 471 items. They could be boxes, it could be a chair, it could be a couch. There was 471 items. And so I needed to make sure all 400. And normally, the last time I did this with movers is I sat on the grass in front of the place where we were moving into with our staff, and the guys would call out the sticker color and the number as they were going, and I would write it down on this form. And then we would go back and check it off on the thing. And that took like forever. So I just started counting items, counted them. So we had 471 on the list that the company had provided me with, and it was either 429 or 430. I think it was 439. Hang on. 439 items went into the storage unit. So somehow either I miscounted, or there's been an error on their part, but we're missing 32 boxes. So, or 32 items. We're missing 32 items. And it'll be easy for me to go through the inventory list because whatever the item was, it's written next to the numbers, except the boxes, they go small boxes, medium boxes, but the actual non-box items are actually written out what they are. So I can go through because I know what went in and what didn't and that sort of thing. So I'll be able to do that. So yes, I've got to find those. But that took them 3 hours. 3 hours. So that wasn't too bad. But during that 3 hours, the temperature's like 108 outside. It was 108 outside. So it was quite hot. And these poor guys are going, and the day workers didn't bring any water with them. Well, one of them did, and he shared it with his other two cohorts. But they said normally the driver picks up, bottles of, like a pack of water or something for them to guzzle on. And that was actually my plan, was to stop at a market and pick up, like a 12-pack of water or a 24-pack of water, because I knew it was going to be hot, and these guys are working in this heat, and they're having to walk up into the truck, which is becoming like an oven in there, and then down the ramps with the dollies that were all filled up and into the building. But the building was climate controlled, so they had some relief from the heat. But I was getting worried about them with the heat and all of that. And I said, look, this is where the drinking fountains are. Go get yourself, here's where the water fountains are in the building. Make sure you stay hydrated. So yeah, I was going to pick up like either a 12-pack or a 24-pack of water for them to guzzle down. I had no qualms about them wanting to guzzle water. But I didn't get the chance to do that. My day kind of got a little screwed up. So as soon as they did that, so while we're doing all of this, that U-Haul truck I was telling you about, the guy cleared the stuff that he had offloaded from the truck and then turned around and says, I'm done. I can't do any more. And he was with 2 women, I think it was. Yeah, he was with 2 women. And I think he was like helping them clear it out. Well, of course, they couldn't do it themselves because they were older women and couldn't do it themselves. And so they had this young guy there to do this for them. I don't know if he was a relative, a friend, or what. But he was like, I can't do any more of this. And I'm like thinking, yeah, in this heat, I don't blame you. And so they ended up hiring the 3 guys, the 3 day movers that were on my job, ended up hiring them to empty out their U-Haul truck after they finished offloading my stuff. But the truck driver took the truck away with all the dollies and everything in it, so I don't know what they used in the end to move all of this stuff. But there was things like a washing machine and dryer, the front load washing machine and dryer in there, and all this stuff. And I thought, yeah, I can relate to that stuff, but a lot of it wasn't in boxes. It would have been so much easier if he had some boxes and just piled stuff into the boxes. A lot of it was just a lot of loose items. At least my stuff's all boxed. Didn't have much loose stuff around. But it was, but yeah, so these 2 women just sat down by the door there and did their thing while they were waiting for the movers to finish up with mine, because the movers had told, we're going to be probably about another hour and a half before we can do anything. And they're like, that's fine. And so, yeah, so they picked up then I think they got another job as well. So I think they ended up with 2 extra jobs after my job. They stayed there and moved 2 other people. So these guys got paid whatever the moving company was paying them to move my stuff in, and then they picked up 2 other jobs. So they had a very profitable day. They're probably going to feel it tomorrow and the next day, but they had a very profitable day. And so then I ended up, as soon as I left there, and of course that truck driver actually had to follow me out. As soon as I left there, I went straight over to the kennels to pick up Zeffy, and there was a couple there waiting, and they're busy watching their dogs on the monitor, and their dogs had actually stayed the weekend. And so I walk around so I can watch the thing, and Zeffy's just like laying there on the floor, just watching everything. Like most of the dogs are just laying scattered around the floor, and very few were up and actually moving. And, oh, she moved. She's gone back to bed by the looks of it. She actually made it the distance to the bedroom. It's off. And so I picked her up. So she came out, and poor Zeffy didn't know what to do. She had had a blast that day. They were telling me how much fun she had, the mates that she had played with, and it turned out her best friends in the playroom were this couple's 2 dogs that were about the same size as Zeffy. And she said they had a blast. And the guy says, yeah, we've been standing here like about 15 minutes just watching them play. And he says, our dog, is it Belle? Yeah, Belle was doing things. He says, she was playing and she's never known how to play. And I said, Zeffy just has that personality where she helps draw other dogs out to get them to do things. And I said, there's a lot of times when I've been in dog parks with her that owners are like, oh my gosh, I didn't know my dog could run that fast. I said, Zeffy's taught them how to run, or wrestle or whatever. And there's a dog here in the dog park that every time I'm in the campground, that every time they see each other, they do the kangaroo wrestling. You're up on their hind legs and doing their little fighting thing and hugging. They hug and wrestle at the same time on their hind legs. It's hilarious. And they do that every time they see. And the guy was sort of like, I have never seen Chloe do that before. Chloe doesn't do it. He said she doesn't do it with any other dog. I said, Zeffy just brings out this other side of dogs when she wants to play with them. I don't know what it is, but she gets other dogs to play and all that sort of stuff. And so I said, so I don't know what she does, but she somehow draws out other dogs in some way. And but when they brought Zeffy and Lady and Belle out, Zeffy comes running up to me, all excited, backing, going, and everything. Oh, you're here, Mum, you're here, Mum. Then she turns around and starts down the hallway again. And then she stops, and then she comes running back to me again to see if I'm still there, and then goes run. So she wasn't sure if she wanted to leave or if she wanted to stay, or she's sort of like, oh, I want to go play in the playroom, but my mum's here. I want to go play in the playroom, but my mum's here. So she kind of had this indecision going. So got her all checked out before they went and got her, and then took her out to the car, and we're walking along the concrete, and she's walking on the shaded. Most of the concrete area we were walking along was shaded, so she's walking along on the shaded piece, and then we get to the parking area, and the asphalt's there, so I just picked her up and carried her across the asphalt because it was like 110, 111 at that point, and I didn't want her getting her little paws burnt. So put her in the car, put her harness on. Before we'd even left the parking lot, she was curled up in a tight ball in the back asleep, and she didn't wake up till we got home. And so got her inside. We came inside, got changed. She went straight to her food bowl and started eating because she didn't eat her breakfast this morning. And I'd actually left it out. So she came and completely cleaned her bowl out, had this big drink of water, then went to bed and stayed there for 2 hours. Then she came out and laid in her crate for 2 hours. And then she got up, she walked about 2 paces and just laid down on the floor. Like, I'm done. I got no energy. And then she went into the bedroom, and now she's just come back out again, and she's back down on the floor again. But at least she's up paying attention, so because she knows it's walk time. But yeah, she had a phenomenal day, and so within 5 minutes of us walking in the door, she was in bed asleep. I was changed and on the computer and working for the next 2 hours. So it's been a very exhausting but energizing day. I'm just glad, most of my stuff is here. I've got to figure out why. Did I miscount somewhere? Did I not count some boxes that went in? So yes, I got to figure out where the counting discrepancy was for the 32 boxes, 32 items that we are missing. So I need to go through that and have a look and figure it out. So I'll look through the inventory list to see, was it boxes that I missed or was it a piece of furniture I was missing, and figure it out that way. It was a very interesting day. These guys were good. I mean, they got it done in 3 hours, so I was pretty happy with that, considering the heat as well. And one guy had a sore shoulder, so couldn't lift very much above his head, but he was in there and he was stacking that stuff up. And he says, "You're very good at Tetris, aren't you?" He says, "That's what everybody else says. But I find that people who can pack boxes very well will play Tetris very well as well." And I said, because packing boxes into a storage area or furniture, and packing a storage unit with furniture and boxes and stuff, or packing a trunk of a car with suitcases and things, it's just an actual reality game of Tetris. And it was around long before Tetris ever came. So, yeah. Anyway, so that's been our day. It's been very full on. I am exhausted but energized. We now have to go take the pup for her WALK, and then we're just probably both going to collapse for tonight. I didn't have lunch till I got back here. It was basically in the 5 minutes while I was changing, getting refreshed, I was grab some food out of the fridge, stick it on the table, and get logged in and start working and just eating while I was working, which I hate doing, but it was a necessity thing. So we'll probably just do like a shake or something for dinner tonight because I don't really feel like eating or prepping anything. But then I've got to prep a shake. Oh, water, protein powder, in the blender, in the shaker, and I can do that. Not a problem. So anyway, so that's been our adventure-filled day. It has just been crazy. And how I had the day planned out Yes, I got everything I had planned out done, with the exception of picking up the water. It just didn't go to the timetable I wanted, and that's okay. We got everything done, and that's the important thing. Is that we had the list of what had to be accomplished today, and it was all accomplished today, with the exception of the water. I really would have liked to have the extra water there for them because it would have helped them a lot. But other than that, the stuff's in the storage. Basically, I'm almost done with that moving company. The big part of this moving company thing's done. The other part is figuring out where these other 32 items that are missing, or what's wrong with the count. Um, but yeah, the guys were calling out how many boxes they had on there. Dolly and I was like counting them as well, and so they would say 5 boxes, and I'll go, okay, 5 boxes here. Or they'll go 4 items, and I'll count up the items that I could see as well. So there was a double check thing going. So somewhere along the way, we either miscounted or we are actually missing 32 items. But stop saying boxes, probably because most of them were boxes. But anyway, that has been our adventure-filled day. So Zeffie had a big adventure, getting to play for several hours. So I dropped her off so we took her to the playroom about 9:30, I think it was, and I picked her up. I picked her up 2:45. So she had a good 5 hours in the day camp. So now I know that she's comfortable there. It means that I can start planning for things like a Saturday or a Sunday, if I need to go and do something, that I can go leave her there for a few hours and then come back and pick her up, and she will have a good day. So if there's days that I need to be gone for some time, I've got somewhere that I can leave her, and she'll feel safe, and she'll do good. She'll have fun. So yeah, I'm gonna start doing that. And I actually bought a pack. They had like a 5-pack, I think it was. They have one of those frequent cards that for every, I don't know, 5 or 6 you do, you get one free type of thing. I think that's what they had. But they had you could purchase a pack. So I just need to call up, book her in, go drop her off, and I don't need to pay when I get there or fill out any paperwork. They just take her back, she plays, I go pick her up, and we're out the door. So we've done that for her too. So yeah, we'll find some time to use them. But it's good to know they're there, and they're only 10 minutes away. So that's awesome. So she's had a great adventure today. She's sprawled back out on the floor again. Like, I have no energy. Gonna go for a walk? Not a muscle, not even an ear twitch. Gonna go for a walk? Oh, we had an ear twitch. Anyway, have a super fantastic sparkling evening. Let us know in the comments below what was magical about your Monday today. If you're watching this on YouTube, please click the like button, subscribe to our channel, and if you want notifications of every time we post a new video, please click the notification button. And everybody have a super fantastic sparkling evening. We will catch you back here tomorrow for Tune Up Tuesday. Hei konera!